You're listening to a Destiny Park Media podcast.
All right, I'm ready. I will let you carry, sir.
Okay.
Sorry.
I will let you carry.
I will let you carry.
Very good.
I don't mean let, but you know what I mean.
All right. 3, 2, 1. I got big news for you.
All right.
Sit down.
I'm sitting.
So you know how I've been doing a pretty good job doing my homework.
Okay.
With Hajime No Ippo.
Oh.
Yes. How I was on episode 3. And then last week I made the reveal that I had watched episode 4.
Yes.
Today I sat down and I was gonna watch episode 5.
Ooh.
Here we go.
Yep.
This is the exciting part.
All right.
It is removed from Crunchyroll.
They removed it from Crunchy.
Yes.
What?
So
Netflix did.
Netflix, they snatched it up.
They snatched it. I was like, that is whack.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, though, maybe... Go ahead.
Here's the news.
Let's hear it. That was the news.
that was the news, but here's the part 2s.
The part 2s of the news.
Yeah. I have signed up for Netflix because I am committed to getting back on the Ippo train.
Yeah, respect, buddy, respect.
So that's going to be my main focus for my life for the next month.
It's just Ippo binging.
I will tell you, I've had this really hyper fixation today because I keep thinking about the English dub for Ippo and his voice and how I kind of love his delivery style because I've never heard a character in anime talk like this. Where he's like, I really should probably, he's always
excited kid.
Well, he's in his head having these monologues, I really should do an uppercut right here.
Yes.
I hope Takemura isn't mad at me.
Yeah. He has a lot of inner dialogue.
He's always worried about what other people are thinking about him. But the way the English dub conveys that, the way that actor does it is really different from most anime characters, I feel like.
Yeah.
There's just a youthful energy to it, like you say.
Very youthful, yeah. It's, you can tell he's a very, young guy.
And formal, too. Not just youthful, but formal. Where he's
formally,
he's trying to make sure he's speaking properly, even in his own mind or something.
Yeah. He's, using, correct grammar all the way through. It's nice. It's the cool thing about the fact that the way that they do the dub is that it also gives me a little bit of vintage vibes, a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I know some shows, 80s and 90s, would have some, sound like that, but, obviously different for each character or whatever the case.
Yeah.
But he's also a character not trying to sound cool, and I think that's what you're getting at, which is, he's very, schoolboy. He's not edgy. He's the opposite of edgy.
Yeah, he's a very timid and gentle young man.
Yeah. He's fishing. His mom is a little fishing boathouse, and they're very everyday people.
Yes, salt of the earth.
Yeah, salt of the earth. Exactly.
I did put in parentheses. I do have notes, and I did put in parentheses. Why would Ippo do this? Did he get carried away?
So you watched episode 5?
I couldn't get around to it. I actually was too busy watching a show that you got me into.
Ooh, yes.
What have you been watching and reading this past week? You know what, by the way, it feels like it's been longer than a week since we last got together.
Yeah, because we did a show
last week,
in the week.
We did it on Friday evening for once.
Friday evening, yeah.
And I think with the fact that it was the end of Daima as a series, it felt like a bigger cutoff point, a chapter had closed.
Yeah, literally.
It feels like we've had a hiatus and we've both had time to creatively recharge.
Yeah, and kind of jump to new things, or at least find.
Except for, I'm not a good anime boy right now.
As far as,
I've been a music man.
Good, yeah. Yeah, I mean, music is a big piece of, you and ours, not only relationship, but just lives and stuff like that as far as it goes. And yeah, I think I'm on the opposite end of you when it comes to that, which is so funny. My teenage self would be, my teenage and early 20s self would be upset at me for just not digging enough, not looking enough. Kind of rooted in a lot of I find new artists. It's not like I haven't found any new artists, but like I let the music find me. This era is like, a lot of it has to find me. I have to be hit by something and be like, yo, what's that? And then like check it out. And then I'm like super intrigued by it. And then I'll just go down the rabbit hole, but I'm not searching. That time I feel like is not to say that it's gone forever, but that was definitely I was, teenager just digging crazy in high school, digging.
Well, I have been doing more of, like asking around.
Okay.
I find
that's another way.
If I wait for things to find me,
you won't find anything.
It's true.
It's true.
It's true for music for me. Like it's very easy as a man in my 30s to keep playing the stuff that I know or the same genre that I usually like.
Yes.
And a lot of my favorite artists have tons of records, so I could stay in the same zone for a long time.
Yeah.
And I don't mean like I ask around like awkwardly saying to a friend, like, have you heard any new records? But I have my people that we're always talking to each other about new music.
Right,
so even when I'm feeling a little complacent and not like digging through Spotify charts, I've got my buddy Johnny, I'll shout him out, who he has amazing taste in like electro pop type music.
Nice.
And I have my sister who is big into pop and my friends who are more into like smaller local bands.
Right.
So
I'm the hip hop guy.
Yeah, you're the hip hop guy, hip hop. And no, I got a lot of great people that I hear from. I don't like ask for stuff as much as do you ever hear about like osmosis where like stuff just naturally floats towards you? Like what you were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Like I think it's like setting intention where you put something out into the universe.
Right.
And right now I'm putting out the vibe like I have a voracious appetite for new music and then I'm just getting a ton of it.
Which is great. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's super dope. As far as for things of listening or even like reading and watching, a friend of mine hipped me to the show, this anime show. I don't know. I think I can't actually remember even why she recommended it to me. I think she must have been watching it or something like that. And I was like, yo, have you heard of this? And I said, no. And I think I was already surfing on Netflix at the time. She's like, hey, you should check it out. And I pulled up a trailer. This is the show, Kotaro Lives Alone. And I think she was breaking down how, like, there's a anime and a live action of the show.
Oh, there's a live action?
There's a live action.
Oh, man.
And she's like, I've only seen the live action or something like that. Or no, at first she said, I think she only seen the live action and wanted to see the anime or whatever. And I was like, I'm going to check out the anime because I'm not huge on live actions generally, but checked out the show, or at least checked out the first episode just to kind of give it a glance. And like the first few minutes, this hilarious 4-year-old kid talking super funny, like feudal lord, old school times talk as a little kid to like all these adults. I was kind of charmed by it. Excuse me. This kind of tickles my, my fascination with kids sounding older or smarter than their age. And that goes all the way back to like Charlie Brown, like doing it.
Yeah.
Charlie Brown was like the first one where like I was kind of intrigued by that, like them talking very proper and like, but not even just proper, because it's not about like proper talking. It's about sounding wiser than your age.
It's like they're not putting on airs. They're just kind of laying everything out there in very plain spoken English.
Yeah, without babying it up or like ageifying it with, however old they are. So the Peanuts did a lot of that, and
earnest. That's the word I was thinking of. Earnest.
Yes, that's the word. Charlie Brown does that, and then this show does that. And I was it caught me by that. So I was laughing at the first couple of minutes because just the kid sounds funny. And I kept watching more episodes because, the dub is really good.
Yeah, last week you showed me some snippets from the show, and you played me the dub, and I was laughing at some of the comedy. There's a lot of comedy.
There's a lot of comedy.
The Kotaro's voice in the dub is just perfect. It's just a really, when a kid's really into the play that they're doing.
Yes, yes.
They nail his voice doing the feudal lord type of accent.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I did switch between, so I watched the first 2 episodes of those today.
Nice.
That show.
Awesome.
And, I did switch between dub and sub, and I
didn't even check to see that they had the sub on there. I should listen to that.
They usually do, yeah. Netflix is better about like having both languages than they used to be, yeah.
Yeah.
Ippo, they have the Japanese version now. So
they do?
Yeah, I could watch I'm feeling kind of conflicted though, because
that's interesting.
Like I said, I really do like
Ippo's voice. Yeah.
There's some voices in the show where I'm like, this is an Ots dub. But like that's part of the charm, and I just like there's so much charm to the dub. Like, we were talking about the Kaiji dub, and like there's not as much charm to that dub in my opinion. It has its fans, but
it does have its fans. It's a weird it's interesting.
It feels like a post-ironic enjoyment of it though.
Right, exactly.
It's like
The Room.
Yeah. It's just
the movie The Room.
Because it circles so far into cheesy, it becomes like almost satirical of the original show.
Exactly.
Like, I'm enjoying it, but like
for different reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's an odd thing, but hey, no judgment.
No.
Kotaro, he actually has an apartment on his own, guys. Like, if you haven't seen this show, the context is that the show begins with this 4-year-old boy who rents out an entire apartment by himself. And it's basically like it takes a village to raise a child, the show, where he makes all these friends, I put in quotes, who are adults who are looking out for him, especially a mangaka who is kind of a mess up. The show does a really great job of telling you who he is right away.
Giving you his like attitude and frame of mind of things.
He's 31, so like you and I can relate to some of the stuff he's thinking about, where he's kind of wondering, like, as he's getting to know Kotaro, like, I hope this isn't an Octoroon moment or Octoroon.
Octoroon moment.
Because I feel like I'm saying it right. Like, I was calling it Kotaro Lives Alone, and then I'm like, wait, they're saying Kotaro.
Yeah, exactly. I think you're on.
I hope so. I think you're on to something.
Yeah, I think you're on to something there.
It's like you think I'm coming up with the show.
Right. This is a brilliant idea.
But check it out. It's a really moving show.
Yeah, very touching.
You've mentioned how funny it is, but there is a moment where he is doing something. He's got a stand where he is imitating his favorite TV character.
That was very cute.
Tono-sama. Yeah. And by the way, the second episode beginning with a tribute opening to that show.
Yes. Brilliant.
That took guts.
Yeah, that was brilliant.
That's something that doesn't happen in a TV show until like till the second season usually.
Second ep.
Yeah, second ep. So
yeah,
I'm a huge fan of this show already.
Yeah, it's fun, man.
8 episodes left for me, so I don't want to. But I don't think you can spoil a show like this. If I tell
because they're like different instances, like day to day.
There's 3 little chapters in each episode, I think, or 2.
Mm-hmm.
But he has how kids have like a lemonade stand. He has a stand where he's imitating his favorite TV show. And the twist is that you think, oh, okay, he's trying to get
money.
10 yen.
Mm-hmm.
This is a cute little mini entrepreneur thing that kids do.
Yep.
And he is paying the people 10 yen.
Yes.
And I'm like, what is his end game?
Specifically paying people that are enjoying his performance.
Yes. There's like a teenager who's like rude, and he's like, you will get no money from me.
Move along, sir.
Move along, sir. Yeah, we should mention that he also says, I must away.
I must away.
And I'm watching the dub too. I'm sticking with the dub, I think, for this show, because
it's too cute.
I think with a slice of life that's this, like, it's stronger if you can relate to it.
Yes.
Like, 100%.
Yes.
And I think the way that the subs are written on this Netflix, the subs on Netflix can be not as good. Mm-hmm. The localization of Japanese and Korean material has been really spotty on there.
Sure.
There's a whole breakdown of Squid Game, why the subs on Squid Game are pretty bad.
Yeah, I don't like those, but
yeah,
I watch them but they're not.
But you notice there's clunkiness, and
yeah,
they do miss stuff that. And then there was one word in season 1 of Squid Game that they just couldn't even translate it into English or localize it. So they just have him go, I think it's like Ganbai now or something. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I probably said it totally wrong.
You said another word in Korean.
Yeah, sorry.
What did you say?
I don't remember what the word is, but
I got you.
The old man is saying to the main character in Squid Game this word that there's no real word for in English. So they just had to kind of
make up something right there.
Well, they didn't make it up. They just used the Korean word. So
sure, I could see that working. Yeah, but it's just clunky.
Watch that video. I'll put it in the show notes because it's a good example of when localization is important. It's not just about translating. It's about how can I make this concept make sense to a new culture?
Right.
But he reveals that he's paying them. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, what the hell? Mm-hmm. And there's a flashback, and his mom, who the artists do a perfect job of conveying that she's really going through something. She's sad. And, she's sitting at the table. Her hair is covering her eyes, shrouded in mystery, what happened to his parents.
Right.
But she's smiling as he's imitating the show. And I just...
So cute.
I bawled.
Yeah.
Dude. I was so...
Yo, I'm going to tell you right now.
There's no more of that, right?
Oh, it's millions more. It's millions more.
Michael, who doesn't want to get in touch with his feelings.
Yeah, no, you're honestly better than it than I am. But no, there's more stuff in there where it's like that.
I've seen the comments because after I hung out with you last week, I got home and I remember I said to you, "This is so funny." Mm-hmm. We can quote me. I go, "Yeah, it's really cool. It's really cute. I don't think I'm going to watch anymore."
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to watch it again.
And you were like, "Okay, man,
that's cool."
And you flipped me off and
just kicked you out of the room. Get out of here.
Get out of here. Yeah, he says, "You got to go.
You got to be Anyway.
But I actually I felt myself saying, well, let me watch one more clip of the little fucker.
Let's see what this little
fucker
little piece of shit.
We were joking about me being jealous of Kotaro for getting all the attention. Earlier.
Yeah, he gets a lot. I mean, thank God, honestly.
Yeah.
Because you have to reverse.
But there was a bento plot in one episode where every Wednesday at the school, the kids' parents were encouraged to create bento boxes for them, which is in Japan, someone creating a bento for you is a sign of how much they love you.
It's cute. It's really cute.
And it's in all the rom-coms too.
Is it?
Yeah.
That's really cute.
I have been catching up with my rom-com manga, by the way. We'll get to that later.
Okay.
But no, this is a fun episode, dude. I have so much to talk about.
Yeah.
I'm going off.
Yeah, man.
But not off script.
Stay on task.
So staying on task.
There you go.
You go, no, on it. So,
this is the funny shit about Kotaro. He just sons other children his age, and it's so funny. Especially one of the kids that he really likes in the school, or likes him, I guess. There's an episode where he comes to his house, basically.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, and so he's teaching the kid kind of how to be more self-sufficient. Because he has a maid, the kid has a maid, and the maid does everything for him. And Kotaro is you have to learn how to if you're ever by yourself, you're not going to know how to take care of yourself.
That's got a point.
Yeah. So he's saying the right thing, but obviously
informed by a little trauma.
Thank you. It's coming out of trauma, but it's important stuff to know. But I mean, the kid's 4 or 5 years old. Yeah. He's young, so he's kind of taking it as. I mean, with his circumstance, doing great. Obviously, he's doing great.
He's a survivor,
super survivor,
just like Kaiji.
Hopefully, he doesn't go down that same path.
Oh, yeah, you're right. But Kaiji was all alone in his show. He was a part of the lost decade.
That's true.
But the voice acting on this dub is
good.
really great. I'm going to keep watching the dub. I think it's really great. Mm-hmm. I have one minor quibble.
Yes.
Which is, it's actually, I don't know if it's minor, but the tough guy neighbor who's he looks like he's part of the Yakuza.
Yeah, they hate him. People that are in the town don't like him because he looks that way, which is really unfortunate, kind of, because he seems like a regular guy, but he just looks
but he also does the classic intimidation face where he curls his lip up, which is really funny. I think it's a character that's lost in translation.
Yeah, for sure.
In the dub, because
for sure.
The way they convey him and how he feels about Kotaro, it comes across. And when we watched a clip with him together, and I legit thought it was like introducing a pedophile character. No, I'm serious.
No, he does come off like that.
He's picking up Kotaro and saying, "Look, we'll go hang out in my room."
Yeah.
And it's not. I don't think it's intended to.
No, it's a very American.
We've watched so much anime where that character that's being overly forceful is doing it for like ulterior reasons. It's a trope in anime that I'm glad we can talk about it.
Oh yeah.
Even the show like Komi Can't Communicate, which is really wholesome and in a lot of ways like is progressive with how it conveys gender identity for one of the characters. Sure. It's not perfect, but it represents it.
Right.
But there's a character in that show that's like overly forceful about wanting Komi to fall in love with her and like literally kidnaps one of the characters.
Does he take a turn?
It's a girl. That's right. That's the
twist.
That's the twist. Is that no, never mind. No, but it is a twist.
Yeah.
You immediately assume, an overly sexually forceful character must be a man or an old man.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely an old man. The old man is a good trope. Yeah,
it's an 80s trope for Dragon Ball and Ranma 1/2.
Yeah. I think even in America that was a little bit of a thing. I don't know if it was around the same time though, but. Yeah, they had the old man trope.
Yeah. Dirty old man trope.
Yeah, classic shit.
Classic. I don't know if I like it, but it's classic.
I see the comedy in it. Obviously, in real life,
there's no comedy in it.
There's no comedy in it. It's a very weird line to hold. Like, it's still funny. What do you mean?
Yeah, so you're not like dying on a hill about it.
Right, yeah, I don't need to. It's really not that serious.
Good. Yeah. Listen, Splinter was the best dirty old man.
Come on. He taught 4 teenage kids.
Dirty old rat.
There you go.
I don't know why I went to Splinter. I've been thinking about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles a lot. So I think that character comes off kind of creepy in the dub. And I think
initially he does, but as the show goes on, obviously you understand the type of character that he is.
And I do understand, like, he misses his son, and
I forget that piece actually a lot when I'm watching. I forget that his son, he's trying to connect because he missed out. And then later on, you'll see like that'll play out the way it needs to play out.
I don't actually hate the character. I just think it's a matter of how the voice actor and he plays it very I don't know, whittle Kotaro.
Yeah, it's like the try hard.
Yeah.
To be, approachable. People do that in real life too.
They do. No, and if you are trying too hard to get a cat's attention or a dog's attention, you will scare them away.
Yeah, thank you.
Children are just,
somewhat similar. Somewhat.
You're the only parent I know that actually goes, yeah, they're somewhat similar.
Somewhat similarities there.
All the other parents I know
no, they're lying.
You must die for this.
That is not true. My child is not an animal.
He's not an animal.
They were when they were all toddlers. They all felt the same.
Yeah, there's that cool moment where you have a dog and you have a little brother or little sister, and for a little period of time they're at the same intelligence level. You ever had that happen?
Don't eat that. Don't put that in your mouth.
You're watching TV and they can't understand what you're watching. They're just going,
just looking at the screen. Take the remote out of your mouth.
Yeah. Take the battery out of your mouth, you idiot.
Yeah, there you go.
But yeah, so lots of great anime and manga that we're checking out. I have been catching up on The Dangers in My Heart.
I think you had mentioned this before.
Yeah, that's my favorite rom-com manga.
Nice.
Little middle school kids. They're 13, 14 years old now. And
nice.
In volume 9 and 10, they are... Again, this is another thing where it's like... I don't think it counts as a spoiler, but they're dating now.
Sure.
See, that for me makes me want to watch something. If like I find out it's a rom-com and they date, like I'm like, oh, this is awesome. This is going to be great.
Yeah. But to visualize it. So there is no anime for it yet.
There is 2 seasons of an anime for it, and the anime is beautifully animated.
Oh, okay.
Some of the best animation. Like it looks, as I mentioned, I think before, the manga took a while to get really
great.
Art-wise. the anime starts out from day one having the best version of those characters.
Awesome.
And they went the extra mile in terms of fluidity and in terms of like the color choice, and just like the overall visual identity of the show is super confident. So I love the anime and the manga, but the manga is just that tiny bit better for me.
Sure,
but I think it's only because it was the first thing I read. Like,
yeah.
Or the first way I met the characters.
Right. And what's the name of that again?
The Dangers in My Heart.
The Dangers in My Heart. Maybe I'll try to find it on, is it on, do you know?
It's on High Dive. Which, yeah, I'm not going to get that.
Yeah, I had it and I pulled it away because I was like, oh, I've watched.
You were watching Kaiji.
I was watching Kaiji and dub on it because they had the dub on there.
The dub.
That's
the narrator.
Had the deep dub. Yeah, the dub.
The dub.
Yeah.
He wanted to watch the dub. So he got High Dive.
Sniveling fools. He was like, oh my God.
Yamada, the female lead of that show, is a really just lovable, klutzy, like genuinely flawed person. And she has such a kind heart. And then Kotaro is the male lead, and he starts out the show being such a like Linkin Park listening edgelord who hates everybody, and including her. Just the way that these two, by osmosis or whatever, just get drawn to each other through happenstance. It's just so beautiful, man.
Nice.
It makes me believe in love when I read that.
8th grade. Or are they in 9th grade?
They're in 9th grade now, I think.
Got it.
With Japan and like primary school, and like I don't know how they talk about it. But like, yeah, they are 13 years old at the start of the book.
Gotcha.
And then 14 now.
Yep. Okay.
And
yeah.
They are more mature than any 14-year-olds or 13-year-olds are in real life. Like they had to work through some stuff in the latest volumes. Where,
interesting. Okay.
Yeah, they did, because he's busy studying and she is like a famous model and actress.
Oh, yeah. So they're really kind of living these elevated lifestyles.
They're gonna face challenges.
That's so interesting. Okay, yeah. That's really interesting, actually.
Yeah, and like I was kind of mad last night when I was reading it, like because I was like, most of the book is like them being ships in the night and missing each other.
Sure, sure.
Like they're at this like resort, or not resort, but like an Airbnb type sitch where they're having like a 4-day study session before summer's over because he's trying to get into a really good school.
Sure.
And he's so busy with studying and stuff. And then one of her mutual friends with him also wants to get into a good school, so he's spending more time with this other girl.
Oh.
Yes. But they don't go the way you think they're going.
Of course.
It's so smart. It's such a smart show.
Yeah.
And series, and I love it so much. And
sounds good, though.
They have a talk. They have a talk about it, and since they're kids and like teenagers, they are like, you know, starting to talk about other stuff too.
Sure.
It's like really handled really maturely and well. Like it's
just written.
Yeah, dude, you got to read.
Yeah, that sounds.
Or watch the anime. No, it's so good, and I'm
gonna watch.
I think that I think it would be really fun for you to watch too.
It's on High Dive, though, right?
It is on High Dive, but there are Blu-rays, and I'm sure I can. I'm open to buying Blu-rays of shows that I love now. Newsflash: I actually bought Kaiji on Blu-ray when I got my federal tax return. I did the Ramit Sethi thing where he says to, like, when you get additional income, make rules about where it goes. So
sure. I like that.
I did 25% in investing, 25% for fun, and 50% for savings.
Got it.
So that's how I do my additional income.
I like that.
And that 25%, I was able to get Kaiji season 1 and 2 on Blu-ray.
Nice.
And the volume 9 of Dangers in My Heart.
Awesome.
And volume 10 I got just for S's and G's with just my regular guilt-free spending money. So,
how thick is the those books, those mangas?
You know, I would say they're like 180 pages, which is like 10 chapters or 10 to 15 chapters.
Smallish size book.
Yeah, smallish size. Okay. Yeah. So like to compare it to your Berserk books here.
The colossal that is Berserk.
And I would say these series are comparable. You know?
I really went head first into like the thickest, biggest.
Yeah. Let's compare it to these.
Yeah.
Kaiji, before we move on to something else, Kaiji compiles the manga volumes and the American releases.
Oh, they do.
In similar books. Not like hardcover.
Sure. But it's bigger.
Yeah, it's big. So
I like that. I like when I like a full book of like a lot of volumes, so I can just kind of ram through, just like go through it. Just ram through it. Just ram through it.
You're like Ty Lopez. Oh. You remember that guy?
He's the guy that...
Here in the Hollywood Hills.
That's right. The Mr. Move That Bus, right?
I don't know that Move That Bus, but...
Who am I thinking? I'm thinking of... I know. I'm thinking of Homeboy that did like the fixing the houses.
I just realized it right when you said it. He's not who moved that bus, but he's the guy who says, I read 500 books a year. And then he like just goes,
oh, that guy. I know him.
I read a book by looking at the back cover and then skimming through it. I think he said something like that. Don't quote me on that. I'm not trying to.
This guy used to be a very popular like YouTube guy.
Here in the Hollywood Hills. He had this ad where he'd say, here in the Hollywood Hills, I got my Lamborghini here. If you want to have a Lamborghini. There was one guy who like did a Q&A for his real estate investing course, and he asks him like a really basic real estate question that anyone who like knows anything about real estate selling would know the term, and he just flounders completely. It's a really funny clip.
Yeah.
But anywho,
so you've been reading
I've also been reading Jenette McCurdy's I'm Glad My Mom's Dead.
Interesting.
Do you know who Jenette McCurdy is?
I don't know that.
Blonde from iCarly.
Oh, I know that book.
Yeah.
I've heard the title.
Yeah. No, that title is a good title, but when I was checking out, I was with my friend Johanna, and I was like showing her what I got, and we were in line to check out, and there was like a kid in line, so I didn't say the title. I like couldn't say the title.
Sure.
And if you're a child and you hear someone say, I'm glad my mom's dead, I just feel like that would just...
a kid would be like, what?
And the kid was with, they're...
of course.
Assumedly, which is not something that people say very much.
No, I get you.
Their mom.
Yeah.
So I'm like...
Weird title.
Oh, but it's a good title because of,
yes.
the way the book is... So it's... basically a memoir for her about being a child actor. And
that's right.
Being a child actor is extremely difficult.
Oh, yeah.
And her childhood is uniquely difficult from what I can tell.
Right.
Each chapter is like very brief, but it's written in a extremely intimate and like personal sort of way.
Okay.
Where you really feel like you're in her shoes, but there's like this sense of distance from it, which allows her to be like really funny at the same time.
Yeah.
But she's not like undermining the seriousness of the situation. She grew up in a hoarder house, like a really difficult place to live.
Yeah.
And her mom just had severe mental health issues that she got cancer at one point and survived cancer. But every weekend she would show the kids the same home movies of like the time where she was fighting cancer and play them back and make the same comments about them. And anytime she met someone new and she had a chance, she would tell them about her cancer surviving story. And but Jenette, she like thought it was her role in life to make her mom happy.
Sure.
And so the book is from that lens for a while. Where she's like, I didn't want to be an actor. And I tried to tell my mom no, but she started to cry.
Right.
And like, she said, what? You don't? But we were so close. Like, and she freaks out. And then of course she says, I'm sorry, Mom. I didn't mean it. I do want to be an actor. And the mom doesn't even like immediately she stops like crying and goes, okay, cool. Who wants to get ice cream? Just the pure like
manipulation,
emotional manipulation, narcissism.
Mm-hmm.
It's scary stuff. And I haven't even gotten to the part of the book where she like starts to, I think, probably resent and like hate her mom.
Yeah, because there's stages in that journey.
And maybe even hate is the wrong word. Like, I was surprised because when I read that title, I'm Glad My Mom's Dead, I go, oh, so she hates her mom. Wow.
Yeah.
But the book starts out with like the fact that it's like a prologue, and her mom has cancer again, and this time she's in a coma and she's going to die. And she tells her, Mom, guess what? Like, so when someone's in a coma, it's common for people to tell them like big life news and see if it wakes them up. And her brothers tell her mom stuff and it doesn't work, but she starts to feel cocky because she's like, I know what, I'm going to be able to tell her something that'll wake her up for sure. And she tells her, Mom, I'm at 88 pounds, which was her mom's goal weight for her to be a attractive actor.
Jeez, 88.
Yeah. And, she was like really shocked because like it didn't work. And, but so even when her mom was near the end of her life, like I was shocked, like, oh, she still is like trying to get her approval. And so I'm really excited to keep reading it and to like see the mental health journey that she had to go on.
Yeah. Cause obviously there's growth in a lot of that from her being able to write it in a way where it's understood. She can tell the stories and it not reflect outwardly as like still damaged maybe by them or you know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't reverberate as heavy as it may once have. So
yeah. That's the gift of going to talk therapy or any form of therapy. Yeah. You know, cognitive.
When you're doing it right.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, not every therapist is the same. Not every, any service that you pay for, you know, because some people go, oh, I did do therapy and it didn't work, so I'm never doing it again.
Right. It's like, well, that person didn't work for you. There's other people, et cetera, et cetera.
It's like dating. You know?
Exactly. I dated a guy. He sucked. I'm not gonna date ever again.
I forgot you were doing an example, and I'm like, oh, well, that's cool.
I dated a guy recently who didn't turn out, and
you didn't like that I had a wife and kids.
Yeah, I was a little over the lifestyle, and so I decided to try something else.
That's hilarious. The way you said it just felt super conversational.
Yeah, it was very like, you know, so.
That's awesome, man.
I dated a guy.
We can talk about it if you want. I
guess. I mean, it wasn't very long, so it's not a big deal.
Yeah, well, I had something really pressing I had to talk about for my notes here.
Oh, yeah, let's hear it.
So, you know that I love novelty foods. I love limited time bullshit.
Yeah.
Fast food, restaurant foods.
Yeah, get it now.
Domino's. How do you feel about Domino's pizza?
Domino's is cool. I usually have it in the instances of like some type of get together or like a lunch or something with usually in like a work setting or like a event setting or something like that. You know, I'm a snood, so I stick my nose high in the air to avoid the Domino's, the Pizza Huts, well, I mean, I love a little
Papa
Caesars.
Oh, okay.
I'm just kidding.
Well, they have their place.
They do have their place.
I'm going to keep it real with you and say that the only fast food pizza place that I really am not a fan of is Papa John's. I don't like the sauce. I don't like the peppercini.
The peppercini.
They really force it down your throat.
They really love a peppercini. Yeah, they'll throw it in the box.
I don't. And then the crust is they do that.
Yeah, they do.
The crust is ashy and
it is
weird. I've had like a pizza or two from there, like the novelty ones from there that are not bad, but
I had my moment with Papa John's, like when I had first discovered it, I thought it was really good, and then after a while, it gets old.
Yeah.
None of them's that great. But.
So, and you and I are both guys who have been to like fine Italian restaurants, not like in Italy.
Yeah, unfortunately not, but
you want to go to Italy.
I do, and hopefully that will definitely occur along the lines in the future. But we've been to a lot of pizza, like specialty pizza places, I would say.
Yeah.
I even have one like right next to my house that's like fantastic. So I honestly have just been ordering their stuff now. But anyway.
But I do think fast food pizza has its place, like how you can enjoy authentic Mexican cuisine and also like Taco Bell.
Right, or something like that.
This is not food. This is
an experience.
This is an experience. Domino's just announced that they have a stuffed crust now, and I love stuffed crust.
They didn't have it before, eh?
No, they've never done it. So
that is really interesting to me.
Yeah, I tried it.
Yeah?
I tried it, and I loved it because I also tried the, quote, viral Domino's pizza.
Which is?
It has... I'm glad you asked. I have my thoughts about this. Might be like a psyop or something.
Yeah.
It has garlic sauce.
Okay.
It has cheese.
Okay.
It has extra cheese.
Mm-hmm.
Cheddar cheese.
Okay.
Philly steak and bacon.
Philly steak and bacon. That sounds like a 4-cheese pizza with bacon and
Philly steak
on top of it. You said garlic sauce.
Yes.
So not the red sauce.
No red sauce whatsoever.
What is the garlic sauce?
It's just some good old garlic sauce.
Is it like white, like a white base?
Yeah.
Or?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Okay.
I really did love it.
You thought it was great?
It was really good. Yeah. And the
viral.
they call it a viral. I don't know who started it, but my theory is that like the official Domino's TikTok created this by hiring influencers to say, have you guys tried the viral? And like it was like a forced virality.
Yes, yeah.
And then I saw Dame Drops like review it, and it still is being called the viral Domino's pizza.
That's got to be
a
marketing.
year later.
It's got to be.
There's got to be some level of marketing to it. I don't believe it's like there are authentic like for Starbucks, people make quote secret drink menu ads.
Oh, sure.
But this just feels really like planted.
Yeah. Sounds a little bit
fake,
but it was good.
It was really good, and their stuffed crust is probably the best of the fast food chains, except for Little Caesars used to have this like deep dish stuffed crust that was just
they don't do it anymore.
There was limited time back in like 2015 and 2017 or something.
Yeah,
like
I have nostalgia glasses for Little Caesars because that was the pizza that I used to eat when I was a kid.
$5 for so long.
Yo, you know what, man? You can hate on it all you want, but that was a hell of a marketing campaign to get back in the game get back in the pizza game, because they were out of the game for a long time. I don't know what happened. They must have bankruptcy. I don't know. Something happened where Little Caesars really wasn't doing after the 90s. They didn't really exist anymore.
Yeah, I remember I saw the commercial Pizza as a kid. I saw that so much, and I'm like, whatever happened to that guy? Yeah,
and they weren't around in the early 2000s. So it was really ran by Pizza Hut, Domino's, Papa John's. Papa John's kind of came into prominence around that time period, the 2000s and stuff. And then Little Caesars came back with the mascot, the $5 pizza, hot and ready.
Hot and ready, yep.
So anytime you just needed a pizza, you could go into Little Caesars. They would have it in the heat rack or whatever, and you could just throw $5 down, walk home with a pizza.
Tasted acceptable.
Solid.
Yeah.
It's solid. Just solid.
Yeah, that is a good comeback story.
Yeah. And props to them.
And back then they didn't do delivery at all,
No.
When they started rebuilding, they didn't rebuild too fast.
No, they started small. They had really small locations where they just make the pizzas. No seating.
They still don't do that, I guess.
Yeah. They keep the pizza heated. Obviously, I think one of their claim to fame was their breadsticks was always like the crazy bread.
Yeah, I never liked the crazy bread.
Yeah, people always talk about the crazy bread, especially back in the day. Like people were really big on the crazy bread.
They have those little cups now. The what do they call them? The crazy puffs.
Yeah, the crazy, little yeah.
And those I tried them, and they are fantastic.
Okay,
they are like the pizza version of really good glazed donut holes.
Yeah.
It's just really simple, really small, but you take 2 bites and you go, me need more. You become the pizza monster.
Yeah, you're just gobbling up. But it's good stuff, though. I was going to ask you, so you say it's the best stuffed crust of the commercial. Have you done the side-by-side comparison?
No, dude.
I'll film a video of the side-by-side.
We'll have to do that, yeah, because...
I've never been a big cheese and in crust fan guy.
Okay.
So I may just be the commentator.
Yeah.
The microphone man. So you took your first bite. How do you feel about that?
He's like chewing in the microphone. Horrible ASMR. God, who did an ASMR video? Oh, Lady Gaga did an ASMR video. And
she did a real one?
Yeah. Well, for like Vanity Fair or something. Like they were like, it's just so weird to see like, ASMR used to be this really niche, like
super niche,
real, like, no offense to anyone who likes ASMR listening to this, but it was real weird. And
it started, I think, in that vein for sure.
You barely stumbled on it unless you were on the wrong corner of YouTube, and you would get out real fast.
Yeah, you ran.
With that said, I do follow two different. Although one of them I hate, but I do follow.
You hate follow?
Yeah, no, there's a hate follow.
Yeah, no, it's real.
I'm not commenting on the fucker.
No, it's super real.
But there's two ASMR guys I follow that they're really good chefs or cooks.
Okay.
They make really delicious looking food.
You're not following any of the ASMR ladies, man?
No.
Not doing the
man.
Ladies whispering.
Whispering in your ear.
Well, it's not whispering. It's all ASMR talk, but it's like, yeah, so I'm taking a bite of it.
Nope, I don't do that. I stay away from any parasocial romantic relationships.
Well, if someone's just chewing and talking in your ear quietly.
No, yeah, I can't do that.
Yeah, that's very funny. Sorry, it's not funny. It's humorous to me. Just
no, like the fingers on the mic.
And the
whispering. I get real weirded out by the whispering and stuff. I'm all good with that. Like, no, I watch the food ASMR ones on my phone. I don't get ASMR'd.
Hey, by the way, would the man with the pot would that be considered ASMR? Like cooking?
Who's that?
The guy that cooks in the woods, like.
Never seen it, but
you haven't?
Send me a link.
Okay, yeah, I will. It's the guy. He has like a dog. He cooks this like really good food like in the woods. So he's like uses like wood and stuff and builds like a little fire and makes like steaks and all this like really good food stuff. But there's no talking in it.
Oh,
it's just him cooking, he's chopping stuff.
That sounds good.
Yeah, it's really good. But
there's this guy.
I might lock you into something crazy, but it's good. It's really good.
There's a guy. I think his name's like Raw Canoe or something.
Sure.
Or Tuna Canoe.
Sure.
Something canoe, but his icon is a NPC. Like, the NPC, like for the memes when they're making fun of a group they don't like, they make them a bunch of NPCs.
Yes.
Yeah. So his icon is an NPC, and he has a really soft-spoken voice, and he has a very dry sense of humor, but he does these, like the series that I really like is when he does people's struggle meals and rates them out of 10.
Oh, okay. That's dope. That's actually dope.
Something canoe, but, I'll send you a link to that.
Would he be considered ASMR?
No, he's a jokester. He's doing jokes all over the place.
Gotcha. Like a Babish.
Yeah. That's why I think you would like him.
Yeah.
I wasn't going off of the ASMR thing. I was going off of the
funny.
Just the fact that I know the other day I looked at your YouTube recommends.
Yeah.
By the way, I should have told you there's a video on there about Kendrick and Drake, and it's like it was called something like The Beauty of Delayed Gratification.
Yes.
Did you ever watch that one?
I believe you know what?
I started watching it and then I turned it off because I was like, I got to send this to Jallah, and then I never sent it to you.
I think I saw the video. I meant to add it to my watch laters, and I don't think I did, honestly. I've seen so much coverage. Excuse me, not coverage, but I've seen so much so much content on the battle in its aftermath.
Yeah.
That I feel like I've gotten a really good grasp of like what I want from it. But just reading that title, given the topic at hand, I know exactly where that's how in I am with that whole thing. And like, I still need to build that playlist for you, by the way. Like, I've been meaning to, and like, so that playlist, when I do put it together, this will be like a very nerdy, loving thing that I'm going to be doing, because I haven't done this type of like, I wouldn't have done this type of deep dive thing like in years, like maybe since like my wife, like before we were married, like writing stuff and saying like, yo, right here, like this is this in this verse, like when he says this, right, he really means da 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 da. So like, and like, so if when you listen to the song, like, this is what he's referencing, blah, 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 blah. So you're gonna, like, I want to build like a real deal, like, experience. These are the songs, and here's the context to the songs. Yeah. That's why I'm like a little like intimidated, but I know I can kill it.
Where you're intimidated at the very prospect of doing it, so you keep putting it off.
Yes. But it's gonna be dope. Because like the context is gonna be fire, I feel like.
Well, I just have this mental image of you like staring at me like the next day after you sent it and being like, so what was your favorite track? Did you read the notes?
You check the notes? And you throw the notes in the garbage.
Hey, thanks, man. And I toss them in the garbage right in front of you. Dude, thanks for the wrapping paper. That was cool.
That was awesome, bro.
No, I wasn't wrapping paper.
I listened to that song, and Not Like Us is a great song.
Dude, yeah, I went through all of it. Yeah, I skimmed through all of them. They're very good. Yeah, and I like the notes. Yeah, hard to pick a favorite, but probably Mr. Morales if I.
That would be painful. You put so much work into the building, the structure of the beef. You just listen to some stuff.
I like the mustard one was pretty good.
Yeah, the mustard record was great. The one that like been playing on radio since last year. Yeah, that's a great song. You did that at the Super Bowl, I think.
Yeah. Well, we've been wanting to do like a full music, like an Oops All Music episode. Yeah. And just with the way recording time went, you and I just kept getting into new anime and manga. It seems like
finishing things up.
We won't be doing that episode today, but I want to just say that there's so much great music coming out right now. Yeah. I've got a list of great albums for people to check out, and I think what I'll do is I would like to put a playlist together of my favorite like tracks from my favorite albums of 2025.
Yeah, for sure.
And if you want, we could make it like a collaborative playlist, and you could put stuff too.
Yeah, I could do that.
And we'll put a link to that in the show notes and maybe future episodes just to keep track of 2025 album stuff.
That's a great idea because people following that playlist, it's just another way to connect with the show. Yeah. And kind of be into some of the stuff that we're into musically. Yeah. And like you said, stuff that we mentioned topic-wise that is on Spotify as well can also be thrown in there.
Yeah, you might be listening to us on Spotify right now, so you could literally dink around on your little dink phone.
click and bang around and you find it there.
So I just had to envision someone with a hammer bonking their phone.
Yeah.
I want to give off just a list of some of my favorite records that I've listened to this year. And some of these are from late 2024. Sure. There's sort of like a little crossover grandfather
into the new year,
period where if it came out late enough in 2024, you can put it on your favorite 2025
just albums. Like the Grammys.
Yeah, just like the Grammys. It's just sort of a little fun treat. Fontaine's DC Romance. This is a, I believe, Irish band.
Oh, cool.
And it's got a really symphonic and beautiful vibe a lot of the time, but there's a song on there that feels almost like a hip hop record.
Sure.
The singer is like just spouting off a ton of crazy wordplay, and there's like a beat, and it's got this really great rock grunge vibe that I haven't heard since the 90s, and just like it's probably the first piece of or first album I've listened to in years where I say this might be on my like top 10 favorite albums of all time.
Ooh, wow. Wow.
It feels like just a real well put together, every song you're like, oh sweet, it's this song. Like a best of,
Sure.
Magdalena Bay. This is one of those albums where you can lean back. Oh, I didn't really say which song is my favorite on there. There's a song called Here's the Thing, which is just a grunge guitar riff on overdrive type song.
Okay.
There's a song called Desire, which is like a beautiful little ballad with some percussion and droning synths and beautiful vocals. And talking about music is a lot like dancing about rocket science is a famous quote. And
it's very fun.
I think they actually say writing about music is like that, but I always have a hard time like describing music in a way that would make someone want to listen. But
you know what? People make a living, as we know, only talking about music. So I think a good portion of the audience have been conditioned to hear how people describe music and have to kind of listen in and keywords and all that stuff.
Yeah. But it's just so cool to hear an album that feels so cohesive and like, not like a concept album, but like they just had a really strong understanding of the type of music they wanted to make. And
so it flows well.
It flows extremely well. And it's like just this singular piece of work. It does not feel disconnected despite jumping all over the genre field, which that's my favorite. If a band can explore a ton of different genres
in the same album
and it still feels like one album, it's like, bravo.
I feel like that's very tricky to do.
Sirs and non-sirs alike. I want to shout out Magdalena Bay, Imaginal Disc, this is more of a conceptual type of record where it's electronic, synthy, pop, female vocal.
Yeah, I listened to some of the songs.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
It's a really labyrinthian album, and it took me a while to listen to the whole thing.
Sure.
There's a lot of songs on there, but just super dense and high quality music. And at times it's like you're having like a bossa nova lean back while the music is like super high tech and like technologically advanced but like beautiful at the same time.
They merged kind of that techie sound with the grace of I guess the style that she's doing is kind of like it's like neo pop. Yeah. You know, a little bit. So
neo pop.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. And a local band called Afters, Everything Was Beautiful, another female vocal band.
Love that.
And it's a really well put together album. It has a lot of gorgeous keyboard work and really intense lyrics, and from a point of view that I am not a subscriber to. And it's good for me to hear viewpoints that are different than mine.
Sure. What's the genre?
It's I would call it like pop, and then like some rock. There's a song called Gemini where it's like, oh no, you're probably a nice guy. It's not my fault that my Venus is in Gemini. And there's a song called, I don't even remember the title, and I don't remember the track number either, but
track 5.
It's about, hearing from your ex, and they go, oh yeah, I saw this thing that reminded me of you. I saw, and they don't want to hear, they don't want to hear anything from their ex. They want them to just pretend that they didn't know them. And
oh my god,
yeah. No.
How old do you think? Is it like a younger band?
Yeah, I think they're in their 20s.
Oh, okay.
It's
age appropriate music.
Yeah. No, it's Scorched Earth for the ex. You know.
Oh yeah. Scorched Earth.
Scorched Earth. And that's okay. There's some people you don't want to keep in your life for good reason.
That's true.
So
makes sense.
And Dream Theater. Have you ever heard of these guys?
I don't think so. Dream Theater, no.
They've been around for a while.
Okay.
Been around since the 80s, 86.
Ooh, okay. So they're
there's some geezers.
Some geezers. What's their genre? Of
progressive metal.
Oh, progressive metal.
It's progressive metal. So they're well renowned for being insanely good players.
Okay. It's very technical.
That's correct. Very good.
Yeah, it's very technical.
Very technical. And, but they also occasionally have really like short songs as well. They try to write some poppy type stuff. Sure. Not like modern pop, but like U2 from the 80s or Rush like style pop rock songs.
Sure.
But for a while, they lost one of their founding members, their drummer, Mike Portnoy, and he came back into the fold. And it's really fun to hear the band sound like creatively recharged by him coming back. I see. When you said lost one of his members, that you meant he was
he was gone or something.
No,
sorry, deceased. I should say.
No, he's specific. Not. Yeah, no, he left the band because he felt that they should take a hiatus, and the rest of the band said, "No,
man, I want to keep playing."
Yeah, we're still making money off this thing. Yeah, he had like a million side projects, and they
I
didn't. It was a long story, too long for where we are in this pod.
Sure.
But, and we're still recording.
Yeah, so we're still back at it.
We're still good. We're still good. But he was replaced by a guy who was like really incredibly skilled as a drummer, and I actually love his work on other albums.
Sure.
But, Mike Mangini, but for Dream Theater, a lot of the time he felt like a really well-programmed drum machine.
He was that technical that it sounded very robotic.
Really skilled and smart guy, and seemed like a nice guy.
Sure.
When you say someone seems like a nice person, you know that you feel bad.
He's a great guy.
Great guy, though. Yeah. Great guy.
No.
But I never really felt good about him, the way he played the old stuff. And Mike was more of a groove and feel drummer.
Yes, I was just going to say that.
He was musical, and sure, he liked to show off and do his octobon fills, but he also would sometimes like be playing. Like music is about, in my opinion, this is just an opinion.
Sure.
Great music and great live music is about playing.
Yeah, that's true.
You're not being so analytical and methodical.
Yeah, feel the music.
Feel it. Sometimes you feel it and you do something, and when you're listening back, you go, well, I don't know why I did that. I wouldn't like think of that as a great part, but it worked perfectly with the guitar and with the bass. And
sure.
It's better. It's more than the sum of their parts, the band Dream Theater. But
it sounds good though. I think that's cool to kind of have like a reuniting of the old drummer, and so they released something new that with their original drummer that they had.
Yeah, and like there's little references to their old stuff here and there.
Sure.
And, there's one song called Midnight Messiah, which the lyrics are just full of... Mike Portnoy is a guy who loved doing really obvious like references to other songs, and he called them nuggets. And so to have him back in the band saying there's a lot of little nuggets in the lyrics, and it's like, yeah, dude, they're not nuggets. They're extremely obvious, but it's okay. Welcome back.
Right.
The music is just incredibly inspired, though, in that song in particular. There's also a song called Bend the Clock where they're doing more of a melodic rock vibe.
Sure.
Most of the album is like, it's called Parasomnia, and it's about like sleep disturbances, like really bad nightmares or sleepwalk incidents.
Sure.
So
that's interesting.
Real stuff though. And most of the album feels kind of like a nightmare in terms of how metal and how dark it gets.
Okay. But I was going to ask.
This song, Bend the Clock, is like a reprieve where there's like a little oasis and you feel safe for a bit.
Okay.
The guitar playing, I think you would appreciate how melodic and impressive and tasteful the guitar playing is.
I do love a nice melodic guitar.
And it's just such a great vibe that Dream Theater rarely does. But when they do, it's like, I know this isn't like what the band always should be, but God, I wish they could do a whole album like this.
But sure.
I love it. It's just so tasty. And I'll speed through these last two. Heart to Gold, Free Help. This is a Minnesota band.
Nice.
They're called Skate Emo is what one of the genre tags was.
Skate Emo.
Yeah.
Okay. It's so funny you say that. I have a picture of kind of what that would be.
Right. Very evocative, right?
Yeah.
And it's very energetic and really passionate vocals. Vocals almost are well, there's just a little bit more sass to them than regular emo, I think. And the guy's got a great voice.
Nice.
The band just is on fire, and the sound of the record is like it just sounds like something that is pro. It's very pro rock and roll.
Nice.
Really delicious guitars.
Songs that could be on Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
Maybe they're more emotional.
Okay, so they wouldn't fit. It wouldn't be like only an energetic.
Yeah. No, that's the thing is like you just feel this sense of like yearning.
Okay. So it has a little more depth.
Yeah, but very like energetic and fun, and you do want to get on a skateboard.
Yeah, because I'm kind of visualizing kind of It reminds me of like high school time period.
I'm not trying to say that these people wrote music for skating.
Of course not.
I don't know where that genre came from. Sometimes genre names are kind of
people make them up,
evocative without being actually related to the subject, like city pop. I don't think the people who created that pop were envisioning the city when they made it. But, but it does fit in that environ of the city. Anyway, then Youth Lagoon, Rarely Do I Dream. That is a record where it's just this really personal feeling, soft, melancholy, singer-songwriter, rocky type of vibe, but like low rock, you know what I mean? Like lower energy for a lot of it, just really melodic and sweet. And it has sound clips from what appears to be actual home movies from the songwriter's like family. Like you can hear them mention
little samples.
Yeah, his name, excuse me, not names.
All of his names.
He's a man of many names. Youth Lagoon. But I really enjoyed that one. I haven't listened to that as much as the others, but I still wanted to mention it.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
My main enchilada, the
big boy,
the talk of the town, is the new record by Little Miss Lady Gaga.
Ooh.
Do you know much about Lady Gaga? Are you a supporter of this?
I know Gaga.
Beautiful woman.
I only know Gaga from, I was more aware of Gaga in her early years when she first hit the scene.
Sure.
And then she had a middle period of her career that I wasn't following her as much. But I just know she's very talented. I like her vocal. She's a fantastic performer. At least she was when she first came out. She was I remember she really used to perform her ass off.
I got good news for you.
Yeah.
She still is. She was on SNL last night. I'm still over the moon.
About the performance, huh?
Yes, but continue.
Yeah, I'll have to check this new album out because I've been hearing some good things about it.
Not just from me?
No, I've heard it mentioned before. Like, I've been seeing her making the rounds for this new album and stuff like that, and I've heard that people are kind of bigging it up a little bit more. You know what though? What Gaga are we getting on this album? Because Gaga's intro was like she was more pop. Pop. She was
pop. Yeah,
she was pop in the intro, and I think she became more. She became more eclectic in that middle stage where she would kind of play with a few different genre styles, and she had some electronic music in there, and then she had some folky stuff a little bit after that, kind of accompanied with the movie that she had done. And so what Gaga is... Yeah, Star is Born, exactly. Star is Born.
A useful interjection by me. Star is Born.
It's A Star is Born.
A Star is corn.
Yeah. No, what's homeboy's name?
Cooper.
Yeah. What's his first name?
Bradley.
Bradley Cooper.
I'm just getting all the right answers.
See, you're doing it. See, this guy's ready for the game show.
Well, Jallah warned me before I got here. He said, listen, man, you're going to have to carry this episode. I died like
Daylight
savings time.
It's crushed.
It's killings me. That's what he said.
It's crushed me. No,
when we were growing up, people called it daylight savings time, but it's actually daylight saving time.
Oh, that's weird. It's weird that, adding the S, removing the S.
It is weird when, like, we as a culture decide to add an S to stuff, and when we decide to remove an S.
Valentine's Day.
Well, some people call it Valentine's Day.
Yeah, Valentine's Day.
And I'm like, what the fuck?
I mean, that's a very kid pronunciation. I understand. Yeah. Valentine's Day.
I think it's funny. I always call it Valentine's Day, but in an ironic sort of.
It's cute. I think it's cute.
Yeah.
Well, but anyway, so Gaga doing her thing. So, I'm a fan of her pop stuff, so I don't know exactly where she is.
Well, let me tell you. The way I grew up on Gaga is she came about in the MySpace era, where
she did.
There were a lot of girls doing pop music with sunglasses on, but she stood out in a major way with her song "Just Dance."
Yep, Just Dance was great.
And that whole first album she did, it kind of set the template for her whole career because there's just incredible highs in terms of pop songwriting and her vocals.
I'm a paparazzi fan myself.
Oh, dude, she did a paparazzi performance on MTV, like the Video Music Awards. You gotta check it out.
I seen it.
Yeah,
I watched it live, yo.
I did too.
That shit was crazy. Yeah.
That was incredible.
She performed I love paparazzi. It's probably my favorite.
Okay, cool. She hits these notes where I'm like, she has literally gone above her limits.
Yes.
Above any limits that any performer has ever had. And I know that's not true.
No.
But you feel the emotion from this lady, and you're just like, God, she is killing.
She's reaching, yeah.
She is like Ultra Instinct.
Yeah, she does feel that way on stage.
She does. No, I mean, it's like, no, I just love her.
Yeah.
I love her to bits. But that first album has some incredible high watermark pop stuff that has influenced so many great artists after her.
The Fame Monster.
Yeah. The Fame was the first album, and then it became so successful that she created a like mini album called Monster, and that was marketed together with the first album as the Fame Monster.
Oh.
And most people think of it as you do, as the Fame Monster, but it was the Fame, and then Monster, and then that super deluxe repackaging of it is the Fame Monster.
Yeah, kind of before they started really doing a lot of deluxe repack, because that's like a big thing now. Everyone does a deluxe. Oh, I got a deluxe. I put 3 extra songs on the shit.
Even I'm going to do a deluxe.
See what I'm saying? You got to do a deluxe. You got to do it. Because, by the way, you get more streams, I guess. Well, the whole point is to bring people back to the album. So anyway, it's all tactics. It's all tactics.
Yeah.
It's all streaming tactics. Yeah.
That's just me listening, but like sort of dissociating from it.
It's like, I don't want to be a part of what's going on.
No, but we're all having fun. So I love the first album. I love Monster, but as an artist, I have always supported her, loved her. You can hear it in my voice.
Yeah,
I love her.
Yeah.
I don't think she's ever put out an album without stuff where I go, I'm not into that one.
Sure.
Every song I can tell she puts her passion into, but some of it just misses me.
Yeah.
And that's not a mark on her, but it's a mark on how I feel about the albums.
Right.
So I love a lot of the first album. Love a lot of Monster. Born This Way, this is where the audience will boo me. I like that album at all. I think it is an artist that's grappling with becoming super famous overnight.
Yeah.
That classic story.
Yeah, of course.
Then she did an album called, I think I might have missed some stuff, but Joanne.
Yeah.
And that's the one you alluded to where you thought it was more folky, country and folk.
Yeah.
That's an interesting one where it was marketed as more of a country album. She's on the cover wearing the cowboy hat. Yep. However, there is a lot of like traditional Gaga stuff on there. Some great songs on there. I thought that was like a good album.
Sure.
Decent to good, but some stuff I skip.
Sure.
But it was most of her albums have like a million songs. Like there's Art Pop. Art Pop was in 2013.
That was
before Joanne.
Got it.
And that is one where the highs are incredibly high, but it's a lot of it is very esoteric, and she's a very like she gets very conceptual where she's like, this album is about art pop, and it's like this gigantic world of like mixing art and pop, and she had this like statement she wanted to make on that album.
Yeah, it's a hip hop does a lot of that sometimes.
Yeah.
Certain artists are very like, they only do like conceptual albums.
I love conceptual stuff, but sometimes if you're not careful, the concept becomes bigger than the music or divorced from the music. Right. And it's like, you notice that it's not really working.
They don't marry.
Yeah. And that happens, but it's cool to take the risk.
Yeah, for sure.
She did an album called Chromatica, which came out during the pandemic. I think a lot of people slept on that because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
And they like memory hold that album out of existence. So she's not coming back from like, any sort of like flop. Like that album did fairly decent, had some pretty big singles. but people are acting like she's been away. You know, she did A Star Is Born. She did some big singles from Chromatica. It's a great album.
It's been, 4 years?
Yeah, 4 years since that album. And she did The Joker 2, which, of course, everyone loves.
It's a very famous movie.
Very famous movie. And
or should I say infamous?
Oh, wait a second.
Shots fired.
Hold on now.
No, I haven't seen the movie, so I have no idea. Have you?
No, I haven't not. I have no interest in Joker or Joker 2.
Oh, the first one's good. The second one's whatever. From what I heard.
I haven't seen the first one, and I need to see a million other movies before I see it.
It's not a point of view. I think at one point I thought it was. I mean, I still think Homeboy's performance is very good.
Yeah, I've only watched clips, and to be honest with you, I have not approached anything from that movie with an open mind.
Yes, okay.
So that's why I haven't watched it, because I'm not feeling it. Like I want to see Taxi Driver before I see that movie, which apparently it's very inspired by Taxi Driver.
Yeah, so. Yeah.
But anywho, so I'm a big Lady Gaga fan, but I've wanted her to make an album that's like classic, you know?
Yeah.
But I had forgotten about that once until a few days ago when I booted up this album during the Grammys, which, by the way, we wanted to mention that the Grammys this year were really good.
Yeah, they did a great selection.
That was the best Grammys I've ever seen. I've watched a few.
Yeah.
I started skipping them over the years.
Yeah. They've been a little spotty, and they've made some interesting choices over the years, but I feel like this Grammys was pretty solid on all of their, not only the nominees, but the winners that showed up. So, and
the performances.
Performances strong too.
Some really great song selections. They didn't just play the hits, you know.
No.
And it really felt like people were swinging for the fences.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And my friend Kendrick.
Yeah, Mr. Sweep. Mr. Sweep himself.
Mr. Canadian.
Canadian tuxedo
Canadian
man.
Tux.
Yeah, we see you.
Yeah. Well, I did buy GNX the other day.
Yeah.
So, you know, it was pretty.
Yeah,
the cashier said, you like Kendrick Lamar? And I said, yeah.
Yeah, obviously.
I said, yeah.
yeah.
Is that okay? And they said, yeah, it's fine. It's fine. And they got kind of scared of me a little bit.
Yeah, I see this guy. I watch him when he walks out.
They said, I hope he doesn't make a diss record about me.
Just firing shots at people.
I said, you're probably and then I just winked at him and said, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it.
I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that to you.
So this album, the release cycle was really interesting because she put out a pretty modest music video and single called Disease. And I caught it on TV, and I'm like, who is this? That was my first thought. Who is this?
The look, right? Because this is a new look that she's doing.
Not even the look, man. Not even the look, but the music.
Sounds different.
It's industrial, 9 Inch Nailsy. And
wow.
I was watching on TV, and I go, why am I being assaulted by this artist on MTV Live is the channel that is at my mom's house.
Got it.
But it's just a music video channel. And I'm like, why are they playing something so edgy and weird? And then the screen showed in the lower left corner, Lady Gaga. And I said, holy shit, this song's awesome. And I looked and it wasn't getting much attention. And I was like, God damn it.
That's interesting.
This sucks. So the rollout for this album looked kind of unpromising, and I was worried about it, but I forgot about it too. I didn't listen to that song again.
Was the Bruno Mars song also on the album? What's up with that song?
It is on the album.
Okay. So that was also a single as well.
Yeah, but it wasn't. So it was released at the time as just a standalone song.
That's what it sounded like.
Yeah. And I've got my gripes about that. But I have this real habit on this show of every time I bring up something I love, I feel the need to bring up my squabbles.
The squabbles.
Squabble
up.
Yeah. And so I try to, I want to be passionate for a second.
Sure. Absolutely.
So for the Grammys, there was a MasterCard commercial, and all of a sudden I saw Lady Gaga pop up, and I realized, this is a music video. She premiered an entire music video as a commercial for the Grammys and said, in the best I forget what the music video starts with, in the category for best actor or best musician or something like.
Sure.
But it starts out, so you're in the middle of watching the Grammys and you hear another quote award getting announced, and then it's the music video.
Interesting.
And it's for a song called Abracadabra.
Okay. This is during the ad break?
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you like if you like pop Gaga, my friend,
I do.
She is back.
Really?
Yes.
Abracadabra.
Abracadabra, Abra Una Na. So it's a fantastic song.
Okay.
I'll
check it out.
I watched that music video and I went, this album might slap. And then somehow I hadn't heard Die With a Smile, the Bruno Mars joint.
Sure.
Until a few weeks ago.
I'll give you a secret. I haven't heard it yet. Still haven't heard it.
All right, I'll sing it for you. Where's my guitar?
I'll do the Gaga part.
A guitar.
Guitar just flies in.
Guitar tech pops out from under your couch. Here you go, sir.
I will listen to that too, though.
No, it's so that actually. Well, I'll just tell you my first listen from Friday.
Sure.
I am someone who, when I listen to an album in full the first time, what typically happens is I don't know how I feel about it until the second listen.
Sure.
If I do have a reaction to an album after the first listen, it's not a recipe for it being a long-time favorite.
Yeah, I kind of have that same thing too.
Like, there was this, I know I've told you this before, but this is like, I think as guys, we repeat stories to each other a lot and we're fine with it. But
it's an old man thing too.
Yeah. But when I've had partners, of the lady variety, they get more impatient when I repeat a story.
Yeah.
They say, shut the
They don't
fuck
have
up.
the,
No, they don't say,
you son of a, I already heard that fucking.
I have already heard this.
Don't yell at me.
And they grab me by the throat and I'm like, whoa.
Wait, stop.
Spider-Man. And then it turns out it's Green Goblin.
That mother. Yeah. That
so, Willem Dafoe.
Harry Osborn.
So there's an album by Harry Styles called, I don't remember.
Speaking of Harry.
Yeah, classic Harry. So I listened to that one, and on my first listen, I go, this has got to be the best pop album of the year, of many years. It's like fantastic. His voice sounds so silky smooth, and everything is perfectly produced. And the
people were high on that too.
Yeah, yeah. And then the second listen, I go, this is not as good as the first listen, but that's all right. And then the third listen, I went, I never want to listen to this again.
This sucks.
I legitimately can't listen to that album. It's boring. It's so boring.
Yeah.
That first listen, I was high on the hog. High on Harry's hog.
High on Harry's hog.
If you will.
As
men, as men do.
Yeah, I will.
So I was high on Harry's hog.
Sure. You fell off of it.
But after the first listen for the Lady Gaga album, my thoughts were, wow, I really, really did enjoy that. But I was like, I'm not sure how all of it's going to age.
Right.
There was some cheesy stuff, which cheese, when you're listening to Lady Gaga, is like part of the charm.
Sure.
There's the whole like camp element that a lot of gay people like in Lady Gaga.
Oh, sure.
Music.
Of course. I didn't even think about that.
And yeah, there's a huge gay audience for her, and for a lot of female pop.
Sure.
And so you expect some camp.
I didn't think about that. Yeah, that's a good point.
And it's actually part of the appeal.
Right.
It's not a downside.
Right.
But I wound up listening to it for a second time, and I said, even for the stuff, like there's a song called Zombie Boy, and it has like a Gwen Stefani holla back girl style intro where she's just like, hey, you zombie boy, and it's been called the gay thriller, Michael Jackson's Thriller. Yeah.
By the way, it's big shoe.
Yeah, she does a few Mike references on the album.
Oh, really?
Yeah, MJ references. Yeah, I'll tell you about it.
So MJ references in how?
Well, in one of the later songs on the album, she sounds like Scream era Michael Jackson, where he's yelling and
she's doing like
her voice on this album, she's on fire. She's never sounded this insane before in terms of like belting.
Okay.
Soft.
Okay.
High, low. She has the most amazing range.
Okay. I think I lock in with
you seriously do. Like
I lock in.
You know how I mentioned that Fontaine's DC album? I'm like, this might be in my top 10 favorite albums. I like this album more than that one.
Wow. So this is in the top 10.
Yeah. It's fantastic stuff, dude. She is on fire. And for the songs, every time I listen, there's like that one little section of Zombie Boy, and I used to not like it. And I'm like, oh, this ties that whole song together, actually.
Okay.
And it's just, I've grown to appreciate it so much.
Okay. What's the track size?
So this
Still
is
bigger?
one of her shorter albums. It's like 53 minutes.
Okay.
So
53 minutes.
I think that's how she knocked it out of the park. Because I would say there's no bad song on the album. There's no decent song on the album. It's all good.
Sure.
Like, really good stuff. 14 songs, which if I were looking at it on paper, I would say that's perhaps too many.
Oh, you think so?
I'm a 12 tracker guy. If I'm writing album sequences, I start out with 12.
Okay.
For the new album, Everything's Fine, we started out with 12, and then over time there were just 2 songs, luckily, that I just felt like weren't... It's the flow thing, like I talked about earlier, where
I'm with you.
The album like had a crescendo, and then like those 2 just felt like a nice little bonus. Like when Son Goku transformed for the Great Goma.
Yes.
He says, here's a little bonus.
I got a little bonus for you.
Super Saiyajin 4.
So I'm with you on the size.
But when I listen to it, I don't have any songs that I would cut.
14's good. I think 14, you can really be concise and tight. That's what I was going to mention that I think 18 is like the max.
Yeah, and her albums, like Art Pop has like 18, and I'm like, oh,
it's just a little too many. Like, you can get it right into that 15 to 11, like right in that pocket right there. That's good. But yeah, anything more than that, you really got to be selling those extra songs. Yeah,
and there's just not a chance, in my opinion, that there's not going to be a moment that feels extraneous to a listener where they're like, all right, I'm going to shut my brain off for a bit. This is one I'm not really as able to connect with.
Right. And it's, you get to make fewer mistakes with lesser records. You know what I'm saying? Like, as far as like flow and sequencing.
I don't know. I like to know that the band that I'm listening to, like, sat down and figured out which songs they're most passionate about.
This is the bucket right here where, like, I feel like these are 8 to 10s. Really? So I'm just going to use these songs. Like, I'm not going to use like a 6 as far as like rating a song from 1 to 10. Like, I'm not going to use a 6 song, a 7 song. I want to get 8 to 10s, like, as my batch. And
for the album I'm putting out, like, we are only putting out the stuff that I feel like 100% passionate about.
Right.
Like, yeah, I actually cut and replaced the closer track because I thought it was like an 8.5 instead of a 10.
Ooh, so, you're like, I'm not doing no 8.5.
There's stuff like with the songs that we've cut where I'm like super sad. Like, I put on the demos a few weeks back, and like listening to this one verse from one song, I was so sad that like it couldn't be put out. But I know there's stuff on there that's like really nice, but beautiful, like melodic, but it's just not at the level where I can put my whole
backing behind.
my Ippo style fancy footwork.
Yeah, I think it's like I gotta learn more about boxing, but he has the step back foot and then the twist.
I can't do the full twist with all my strength.
Yeah.
If I have a little bit of like that song's kind of repetitive in certain points.
Right. I feel that.
Yeah. Or it's just a little too whiny.
Yeah.
Anyway.
This thing's a critique, I guess. But
Gaga.
Yeah, very Gaga.
Back to the Gaga. I was saying back to Gaga. No, very Gaga.
Back to the Gaga goo-goos.
Back to the Gaga lady.
Yeah. I'm going to lock in with this. 14 tracks is, I think, for me, should be a very approachable listen.
I hope you can get into it because it does jump around genres. She's doing 80s pop. She's doing modern pop. There's a song that feels inspired by, I think it's Carly Rae Jepsen. But some people have said it feels inspired by Taylor Swift. I disagree with those people. They're wrong. They're idiots.
Yeah, because Carly's kind of been in the underground, like, really repping for pop for a while, and people respect her catalog.
One of my favorites, for sure.
She's got a heavy catalog, so.
You know who she references that I never thought she would, like, overtly reference, but she does.
Who's that?
My friend Prince.
Who does?
Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
Those two people seem like they would be friends.
She has always struck me. That's why I loved her. She struck me as a Prince type figure.
Very, very much so.
Because she wore whatever she wanted and did not care. In fact, wanted to scare people.
Yeah.
And wanted to get people talking even if she offended someone.
Yeah, for sure.
it's so funny that now she's been able to be like a chameleon where she can play for the NFL and behave. Mm-hmm. And then she'll do insane, crazy stuff with her solo pop music. Right. And then she did that Tony Bennett project where she's sang with Tony Bennett.
I kind of want to hear that.
Me too.
I'm not gonna lie.
No, she has such a great voice. And I think these years where she's been off, like trying all these different things mm-hmm. and being in A Star Is Born and trying to be an actor too. I think being creative, one of the things you need to do is push yourself out of your comfort zone, even if that means trying to develop new skills outside of music. Mm-hmm. And people get mad about like musicians trying to be actors or vice versa, but it's a great way to keep yourself in fighting form.
You want to be fresh.
To fight for. Yeah. And she has some great roles. She has some stuff where I think her agent could pick better roles, but she becomes so passionate and invested in everything she does. And that's why I just love her. And
she's executing at a high level.
She sure is. And so to hear her actually pull off a Prince style song called Killa, it's so cool, dude. And it also feels like it references like,
it's funky.
Yeah, it's funky. Okay. It is funky. And I'm a white fellow.
Sorry.
But I think it's funky.
Funky white boy, remember?
I don't know any song that talks about a funky white boy.
Oh, really?
Funky music.
Yeah, funky music.
Certainly not asking him to play it.
Never. He would never play it.
That song would not fly in my jukebox. But so she does a great job, and like David Bowie, young American style vibe too.
Okay.
But she's running all over the genre shop. But
the album's called Mayhem.
Yeah, so it's
kind of fits.
But it's just so cool to see her just like go and let loose. And there's speculation, kind of cute, wholesome speculation that it's because she's like found someone she's really in love with, who her mom set her up with. And,
cute.
In an interview with Vogue, I think it was, I found out that this is going to be weird, but his name is Michael.
Oh, is it really?
So I see all these comments about, oh, Michael's so good for her. And I'm just
such
like,
a good
when you hear someone saying your name, like when I'm in a retail store and I hear a mom yelling at her kid named Michael.
Yeah.
When I hear a mom go, Michael.
Yeah.
I immediately go,
yeah.
get scared.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Not me.
And so when I see people saying that like Michael loves her so much and is good for her, I'm just like, fight it.
Is it known that she or who the Michael is?
Yeah.
Is he not famous, but
I don't think he's famous, but the things that I've read are that he like encouraged her to not be afraid to like occasionally go back to her old style. Cause when I didn't mention this before, I sort of stumbled on this, but so when she left that pop space that she started in, she's always been a pop artist, but she hasn't been like a competitive, like, I want to get to the number one spot on the charts, a pop artist.
She's an artiste.
Yeah. But when she left that like edgy, weird pop space, it's my opinion that nobody filled in that space after she left it.
Yeah, I don't remember, and I'm pretty keen on like who's coming out and stuff like that. Yeah. There wasn't anybody that sat in that spot from a mainstream perspective. Because what happened was when Gaga did that and broke off, we moved more into the era of like, Taylor started to bubble up a lot more. She was getting a lot of recognition. The Beyonce era, because Beyonce plays in pop music as well. Yeah. It was definitely moved more towards a, I don't know how to describe it, not a less edgy pop sound. So you had Taylor, you had Beyonce, and obviously I know Beyonce is not just a single pop artist. She's a multifaceted, R&B, country. So she does all of it. But at that time, she was heavily in, black pop.
Yeah. The Beyonce sound was fairly established, back in the aughts.
Yeah, yeah.
It wasn't really deviated from too much, like the Sweet Dream, Beautiful Nightmare type sound.
Yeah, because Gaga had this big following, and then she kind of took them on a ride elsewhere.
From my sister, Kelly Rowland.
Yeah. Yeah, Kelly Rowland, exactly.
She's not my sister.
If only.
I know you. That's why. We got together. I was like, "Have you told Kelly about our podcast?" And my brother's wife is named Kelly, so I'm like, yeah, I told Kelly.
I let her know.
I'm not lying.
Right. There's no lie there. There's a Kelly.
Just a mistruth.
Yeah, this is another.
No, I would love to meet Kelly and just be like, hello, my name is Michael Rowland, and then she would say, okay.
Okay, thank you.
And then she would say...
She wouldn't even put it together. She'd be like, all right.
Okay, goodbye.
Right.
I would say...
Wait, no, I said my name is
Michael Rowland. Rowland. And then she would say, please leave.
Yeah, you said that already.
Her guard would...
Please leave.
Please leave. This would be a signing for the Kelly Rowland story.
Yeah, this is the backstage.
Yeah.
No, I think when Gaga left that, it was occupied by Beyonce's megastardom, Taylor's megastardom, and then we had the smaller, maybe a little, not a step down to sound negative, but the Ariana Grande's, the Olivia Rodrigo's.
But things got smooth.
It's very smooth. This meant less edgy. All this stuff that I'm mentioning is much less edgy than what Gaga was doing. Are we missing anybody
we are definitely missing some deserving female pop artists for sure.
That were edgy. I mean, I guess you had Kesha and these people, they were around the time that, and I don't really look at them as like the same as what Gaga was doing, but they kind of shared similar space because Gaga had laid this framework.
Kesha was around when Gaga was getting big.
Right.
And
they all kind of shared that space a little bit.
Yeah,
unfairly.
I would say Kesha was like, I wouldn't say she was edgy. I'd say she was a party and like fun time type of artist.
Yeah.
But I don't call her...
It's not edgy.
She's trying hard to be edgy.
Yeah, it's not. It wasn't really edgy.
It's in a, like, the teenager that's at the amusement park and like thumbing, doing that to the elders.
Yeah, that type of energy.
That type of thing where you look back on it when you're an adult and you just feel embarrassed.
Like frat girl.
Yeah. and there's a place for that, and she made a lot of people really happy.
Yeah.
No hate to Kesha.
No hate to Kesha.
But it's not edgy. It's a different type of rebelliousness than edgy.
Yeah, and like I said, it was ruled by the mega pop stars, the softer mega pop stars. So the time.
I'm sure as men, there's women that we haven't mentioned that our listeners would be like, you forgot this person.
Yeah, I'm mentioning some of the faces. Yeah, exactly. I always love to hear a little bit more about the landscape because obviously I'm more steeped into the hip hop landscape, but I'm aware of the overall pop landscape as it stands.
And I think from like 2015 to like 2020 something, I stopped really caring about pop as much for a bit.
Yeah.
I got more into like rock and checking out old pop records, and I didn't really check out new pop. I think modern pop nowadays is much better than it was for when you and I
our era pop.
Yeah. No, I really do.
Our era pop had its moment, and it was formulaic, but I did get some things out of it.
Oh yeah.
But yes, it doesn't stand up to. It doesn't stand up to the pop of the now because it's not because that pop music that we grew up on was very packaged.
You know what I think is that I think record labels were more involved.
Yeah.
In the pop back then.
It was organized.
Nowadays, every artist has a team. Let's not be too uncynical.
Sure.
But I think it's less like there's less cooks in the kitchen now, and you can get a smaller team and still get a huge result on TikTok just through organic growth.
Absolutely.
It's like, the Domino's viral pizza versus the Papa John's.
The Papa John's
meme.
The Papa John's meme pizza.
Yeah, where he's saying, I've eaten 40 pizzas in 40 days, and
I don't feel ashamed about it.
Did you ever see that where he said he and his team tried 40 pizzas in 40 days and did a quality test on them, and the pizzas are now worse because he's not CEO?
That is so funny. No, I'm not following the man, okay, but unfortunately.
It came out that he didn't mean that he ate an entire pizza every day for 40 days. But when it first came out, the quote made it seem like he tried an entire pizza every day for 40 days.
And by the way, would that be something that would be to be marveled at? I mean, I could see somebody eating a pizza every day. It's a lot of pizza, but
yeah, I'm sure there's a man who does it every day.
I know. It's not like I'm sure somebody eats a pizza a day.
And that guy's a lucky, short-lived son of a bitch.
Yeah, he's like, I'm killing it. Right
I'm
now.
killing it. And by
literally,
by it I mean me. All right, but all jokes aside, Lady Gaga, Mayhem.
Definitely check it out.
Yeah, let me know. We'll do a follow-up and see what you think of it.
I'm going to listen to it.
And yeah, you should let me know of a new album I should check out. I'll write it down right now.
Yeah. I was...
As Kong is my witness.
Yeah, I think you might like this guy. He's kind of a experimental hip-hop artist named JPEG Mafia.
Oh, I've heard this name before. Great.
Yeah, he's fire. He's kind of been like, I've been listening to him for a few years now, but he's kind of been like one of the newer hip hop artists that I've been following, and his sound is very unconventional from a mainstream hip hop perspective. He doesn't sound mainstream, but he borrows some of the essence of some mainstream stuff and kind of infuses it into his weird Picasso music. But again, experimental. There's a bunch of experimental hip hop artists that are out there. So maybe it's not special amongst the experimental crew, but JPEG is one of the first ones that I've actually clung on to from that sub genre of hip hop that infiltrated my ears. And I was like, yo, okay, this is fire. I hear the potential in this. And, I think I discovered him in the funniest way. Do you know that the YouTube channel Colors, or, there's like a YouTube channel called Colors, and basically they have artists perform like a single or a song, and the background always has like a different color or something. Like the artist maybe pick a color and it'll be in the background. It's like a very visual thing. So it's called Colors. It's on YouTube. And there's a lot of artists will go in there and perform like a single or just a cut off of the album or promote the album. But it's literally like a place where they do like a live performance of their music, of one song.
I love it.
Yeah. And, JPEG did one from an album that was getting a lot of, Anthony and a few other music reviewers that I watched, were praising it for being like, really good and stepping out from an experimental standpoint. And he performs this song and he performs it. He's basically just yelling all of the lyrics. And I was like completely taken aback. I was like, what the fuck? He's just screaming lyrics. Like he's yelling in the mic. It just wasn't, it was very like rock. He has a very, rock essence, like a punkish essence to him, like very hardcore, but not like hardcore hip hop, more hardcore, like grungy vibe to him.
Nice.
So he was delivering this record like that, and I just was very amused and like intrigued. It was like a weird experience. I was like, what the hell is this? This is really interesting.
That's kind of how I felt with the Disease song that I caught on TV the other day.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. That's the thing that got me into the new Lady Gaga album.
Oh, okay. You were like, oh, that's weird. Yeah.
This is weird. I'm being assaulted. Yeah.
Yes.
So that's
same energy. You'll get the exact same energy from him.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's not something that on the first listen you go, this is going down real smooth.
No, because it doesn't at first. I'm like, what the hell? And I'm listening. I'm like, that was an interesting performance. That was really interesting. I have to watch that again. That was different.
Isn't that funny that like there's certain pieces of music or art that like your first experience with them, you don't know that you like it.
Yeah, it's not necessarily favorable. It's just
you have to go back.
Something.
Yeah, there's like that thing where you go, I got to go back and check on that.
What was it? What's standing out to me that I like about it? I like it though. I guess it's interesting. It's different.
Well, like that's what happened with me and Kotaro was, I first watched it with you and I'm like, that's not something I would watch. And then I was just like, man, I wonder what that is.
You know what's so funny? When I was watching the show, I was like, in my head, I was like, he's definitely going to fuck with this show. I could just tell. I don't know why.
Like when we were watching it and I was like,
yeah,
I had my hand on my chin and I was like,
No, I knew you weren't like 100% sold on it, but like leaving, but I knew that you would like it.
That's funny.
I had a feeling that you would.
You know me better than I know myself.
This is one of those outside in things.
That's funny.
Like, I think he'll dig this.
And then I texted you, I think either later that night or the next day, and I went, I have been like watching a ton of different Kotaro clips.
Yeah, you sent the clips out because I was like, I'm going to watch the show, and I think I finally finished it.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, you have fun.
And I said, I got to go on my own journey.
Yep, and you found it.
And I said, well, here's a little boy.
Here's a little boy.
Lives alone.
He lives alone. He's very cute.
He's just like me.
He's very cute.
Before we end the show, you had mentioned my friend Bruno Mars.
I did.
Silk Spirit is a great group of his.
You talking about... with Anderson .Paak?
Yeah.
Sonic, I believe it's called.
Way Past Cool? Yeah. I thought it was Silk Spirit.
I like Silk Spirit, though. That should be their next thing that they do.
Look it up.
Silk Spirit.
I demand a recount.
Silk?
I demand
a recount.
No, this is Al Gore playing Sonic games. I demand a ring count.
There it is. Ba-ba-da-boo. You talking about this crew?
Wrong. No, I'm just kidding. That's right.
Okay, good.
Silk Sonic.
I just wasn't sure.
Okay, so...
Because with Anderson .Paak,
Hey, I think we were both wrong, because I think you called it Sonic Spirit, and I called it
Silk Smooth.
Sonic.
Silk Smooth.
But it's Silk Spirit.
Yeah. Silky Smooth.
But he's another artist where I go, this cat is real talented, super skilled musician, singer, incredible voice.
Yeah, he's got a great vocal.
And
he's strong.
That was one of my favorite moments of the Grammys was when they both won an award for that song. And he gave a really sweet speech and recognized Gaga and all her talent. But what she said about him was so sweet, where she said music, would not be the same without you. Like,
that's cute.
That's just so sweet. And
that is really sweet.
I do love that song. I think it's like a 5-star song.
Bruno's a very interesting artist.
But to me, it feels like, and I didn't mean to interrupt you, but you brought up Bruno, and I go, that song feels like a Bruno track.
Yes.
And it feels like, but I think I felt that before I read that he, had already written a lot of it and then flew Lady Gaga out to contribute to it.
Yeah.
But I wasn't at the studio, so I don't know how much she contributed.
Sure,
right?
sure. Who knows how much?
They do leave that part out.
Right.
They don't want to color a fan's...
this is a Bruno song that we just have.
Yeah, but as a musician, I listen to that and it's like, this is a beautiful song. It feels definitely like a Bruno old school, ballad.
Yeah.
And I love it, but it feels like, and I could be wrong, the record label said this is a massive hit single. It will only benefit your album if you put this on there. You have to put it on there. Because in the interviews when the song came out, it was like, oh, this is just a fun single we're just putting it out. It's not connected to an album.
Testing the waters.
And then Lady Gaga later said, Die With a Smile was like the missing piece for this album. It really brings it together, which to me sounds like, oh, we added it later.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like this is the thing I was kind of getting with Bruno, is that Bruno's in an interesting space right now where a lot of his moves are feeling very calculated as far as people that he works with, music styles that he undertakes, kind of puts on, and becomes. And I don't know, people are kind of feel 50-50. Is it genuine? Is it more created? The Gaga thing is another thing where it's Gaga's kind of on her train doing this very interesting new thing, and then Bruno kind of jumps onto that. Because it honestly could have been a song where it was, a Gaga song that she made, thinking about Bruno, and then Bruno gets on it. It's hard to know. And for me, I kind of sit 50-50 because I see what people mean when it kind of seems like Bruno kind of picks and chooses kind of where he wants to be musically. But he's very talented enough to jump in those spaces without being musically out of place. the guy's just he's a talented vocalist, and he's a powerhouse musician. It's just that sometimes his moves seem very workshopped as far as like, you know, where do we keep you fresh? Yeah. Where do we bring you? So the Gaga thing, it sounded like Gaga kind of was already on the move with their album and already had was already kind of doing something there. And maybe Bruno kind of just finished doing his thing with the Silk Sonic stuff. And I think he was trying to figure out where he wants to do musically now. And, I think now he did the Gaga thing, but he also jumped in the hip hop space and started like rapping a little bit, which is an interesting move. Some people are not really feeling the record because it feels very contrived, like he's trying to create another WAP with Cardi B. It's not with Cardi B, but it's with another type of artist like that. I don't know if you heard of Sexy Red. No. Yeah, she's like this kind of like a ratchet, like hood female rapper. And kind of trying to ride that wave, it seems. So we'll see. I
respect that. I respect the viewpoint that he's like being calculated. My vibe I get from him is that he is a musical lover, right? And he listens to something and says, "Why can't I do that?"
Yes, he comes from a fan perspective.
Yeah, like why couldn't I do a rap record after working with Lady Gaga? Right, and. Fair play to him, I guess.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm so 50-50. I'm like, it's fine if you want to do it.
I've never been like a fan of a Bruno Mars album. Yeah. I respect musician, you know, but I've been a fan of the Silk Sonic the Hedgehogs. Yeah. Totally can't remember the name.
And that was more of an Anderson style sound.
So he just kind of slides in with people. And you know, he's a supportive guy. Yeah. But for me, I kind of wish that this was a bonus track on the album.
Sounds like it would be, right?
Yeah, and that's what I thought it would be, but it's not. It is the last song, and it's like two ballads in a row. Like, thankfully, one is like a dark, sad ballad and sort of epic, and this one is more like something out of the classic American songwriter playbook. Sure. So they're different types of ballads, but it's still like a flow question.
They're right next to each other.
Yeah, they're right next to each other, and they're both like the second to last track and then the last track. So it's just kind of this awkward thing where it's like, okay, here's the end. And then
here's the end.
Again, like Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, where there's like 6 different endings. And if you get a bunch of different endings in a row, you're only undermining both of them to be less good.
Absolutely. And by the way, if that album was released in the early 2000s, that would be like a hidden track, the Bruno record. Remember they used to do hidden tracks? They don't really do them anymore because streaming's kind of fucked everything up.
Streaming, well, you could do like a really long, like if you have 2 3-minute songs, you could do 3-minute song and then like 4 minutes of dead air and then
another song. And I've rarely even seen any.
You know why they're not going to do that though? Royalties.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like these cool ideas that they once used to do when CDs were like, the main transport of music is that you can't do creative things like that with, it's just really difficult. So
there used to be negative time. I forget what this was called, where it would be like, there'd be a minus symbol. There'd be like, it's hard to explain. It would be like space between songs. Sure. Like Dream Theater had this album called Octavarium where each song corresponded to a key. So the first song was, I believe, in F. Then the next song was in G. But then the thing was, there would be these hidden tracks where it would say track 1's over, and then track 2 would say negative 32, negative 31, negative 30, and get negative 29, and get to 0. Then track 2 officially started.
That's really weird.
Yeah, CDs did that. They had negative time. I forget what this was called.
That's so cool this is what I'm saying. Like I said, they did a lot of cool things around that time with the music stuff, because you didn't have to worry about song streams and counting pennies and all this bullshit.
And for a while, Spotify had a version of Octavarium on streaming where it was just like track 1 and then just 30 something seconds just missing. And then the second song would start off with like some half a second of, you know what I mean? When like a seamless album was encoded wrong on Spotify and it has,
there's like a cut.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Yeah, that sucks.
But anyway, I did go to Electric Fetus, and I bought a bunch of albums. I won't list off everything I bought, but Kenny, the great Kenny.
Yeah, I know the GNX was in there for sure.
Lady Gaga. Oh, I'm starting to list it off. Stop me.
Fame Monster.
But I love going to the local record store. I love going to, we'll have to talk about that next time, but I went to a local artist collective type place where they host art fairs every weekend. And
so it's like a constant thing.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Every Sunday there's an art fair.
That's dope. It's really it's near you.
Lindale in Minneapolis. It's called Odd Mart. We should maybe for the next episode or one coming up, you and I should go there.
Right. Yeah, I'd be down for that.
You got to see it. It's so cool.
Definitely be down for that.
The owner of the shop does a lot of the art for it, and there's like local Minnesota comics, local Minnesota zines. Yeah, I sent you a photo of that stuff.
I saw some of it.
It
seems cool.
It's super cool, dude. And I heard two people talking about Godzilla and Gamera, and I did not.
You did not interject.
I did not interject, nor did I mean to eavesdrop.
That's all right, though.
I part of me goes, God, I kind of wish I had said something, but I didn't want to be like, eavesdropping and rude.
Well, if you had the shirt on.
But it was, I didn't have the shirt. But it was, that would have been a good idea, damn it. I had my silly goose shirt,
Yeah.
Silliest goose on the loose is my shirt.
I like that.
It's a very non-threatening shirt.
Yeah. Approachable.
Yeah, very approachable. You go, oh, this guy's a fucking silly goose.
I like that
let
guy.
me talk to this guy.
Yeah.
Like, honk, honk. Anyway. But yeah, there's in your local communities, there's all sorts of artists that make stuff worth listening to and reading, and check out local art and talk to people.
Yeah.
Don't just look at headlines. Don't just get isolated and get in your echo chamber. Talk to people.
Be amongst the people.
And we are people. And we just want to say a heartfelt thank you to the r/Kaiji subreddit, because I posted about this podcast on there.
Nice.
it just keeps getting upvoted.
I like that. That's great.
No comments.
Just like
no downloads.
Fuck with that.
But these nice guys who have seen Kaiji suffer, they go, you know what? I'm going to help these guys.
Do you know if they're streaming it though?
Yeah, the streams have not gone up one bit since.
That's interesting. So they're upvoting it.
They go, someone should listen to this, not me.
Boom.
Someone should.
Yeah.
But it's my most positive experience I've ever had on self-promoting on Reddit.
That's really cool. Yeah, Reddit can always be a crapshoot. You never know.
Actually, I had another one where for my podcast, Is This Podcast Name Taken? I actually did have a positive time when I had a certain guest on.
Nice.
Emma Erdbrink from the Doughboys podcast.
Nice.
She was a producer.
Oh, sure.
Their community is really like tapped into what they do, and so when a producer from that show was on a podcast, they just listened to it.
Nice.
Really, really passionate community.
That's fun.
But this is a close second where I've been upvoted to Karma Heaven.
Yeah, getting that karma.
Yeah, I think it's because I did it in a very honest way, or I didn't try to I don't know.
You didn't grift anyone?
I didn't grift. I didn't try to say, guys, I found this podcast.
This is such a great...
No, the subject was my friend and I talked about Kaiji on our podcast. And I
like it. I simple and straightforward.
Mentioned that I have some personal experience with debt and walking on a giant beam.
Electric beams.
Yes, sorry about that. I may have exaggerated in a few places. But anyway, all kidding aside, Jallah, thank you for meeting with me tonight. I know that daylight saving time has...
it's not saving me.
It's not saving you. It is actually shaving you.
Yes. By each layer.
Your exoskeleton is just completely removed.
I'm here.
But I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, man. I the pod is fun, and I like to chat about some of the stuff that we've been exploring, discovering, and enjoying. So
yeah, this was I told you this, but this was the episode I was most excited for.
Indeed.
Because of the magic of Lady Gaga.
Yeah, the magic of a lot of that stuff.
A lot of stuff. No, I had so much stuff I wanted to talk about, and you were so tired, and I dragged you through it.
And I was crying all the way there. Like, can you just carry the show?
Gosh, I really think Jallah seems tired. That's how I felt.
I should help him out.
I should help him out.
Or maybe he'll need some help after the show.
And then... Maybe I should carry him to bed. Yeah. That's me as Ippo.
That's very Ippo, like line of thought and line of speak.
He tries to carry Takamura to bed. What the hell are you doing?
Get off me! You idiot!
Hey, you idiot! Thank you for listening. You can follow us on Instagram and TikTok at the Oculus Slide. Or sorry, take two at Oculus Slide Podcast. It's simpler. And we also have a YouTube channel. We're getting some subscribers on there.
Yeah, for sure.
Check us out. Leave comments. The review challenge was if we get 5 reviews on Apple Podcasts, then we will do a 13-minute version of the Kendrick Lamar Super Bowl episode plus the flopper flip.
Yes.
With Sonic and, I almost said Sonic and Mario.
Sonic and Mario.
Sonic and Longio.
Yeah.
Long-Legio. We should figure out a new flopper flip for next week too.
Yeah, let's do a new flopper flip.
Okay. But thanks for listening. And until next time. All right. Well,
something about sliding.
Yeah. Sorry. Slide you later.
Yeah, that's mine.
Oh, that's yours. That's yours. Slide you later. Well, mine is, it's like, we used to have this dumb bit where I said, what was Guy Fieri's catchphrase on Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives? Let's get driving. And I always imagined him like, he's looking at the camera and goes, let's get driving. He turns and just immediately speeds like crazy. So for us, it's welcome to Oculus Slide-Ins and Slides. Let's get sliding.
Let's get sliding.
All right. Catch you next week.
Adios.